Hello and welcome to Affinity. Sometimes when we take a picture, classically we've got something like the sun, of course, but even in the speckles of the reflection of the water, and can be in clouds, then we get a level of white here. So when this is particularly important if you're going to print the image, because when you print white and it's pure white, effectively no ink goes onto the paper. And paper looks different if there's no ink. So what would be nice is to make this just a little bit of off-white, so it forces the printer to put some ink on it, and so it will look a lot better in the printed form. And a way to do this is if we go here to curves, and then we'll bring that up. Here we go. So that little spike there, that's the light there. And we can just bring this down. Before we do that, actually, let's show something interesting. That's if you go to the info channel here. If you haven't got this, go to View Studio and make sure that info is checked there. But what we get with the info is watch the RGB here. The A means alpha, which is the transparency, so if you haven't got any transparent bits, that's okay. So as I move around here, see the red, green and blue changing, so I can see what colours are there. And if I go over the sun, see it's 255, 255 and 255. In other words, that's the maximum that can possibly be, so that's going to show you've got it saturated across red, green and blue. In other words, it's going to be white. So let's go back to that. Curves. So what we want to do is to, where we've got white, pull it down so that it's a bit off-white. It'll still look pretty white. We don't need a straight line here, so we can just pull up this bit of here and then flatten it back to the diagonal here. 3 spikes are usually enough. There we go. Now if we look at the down here, when we move over to here, see it's saying 238, and when you got 238, that means there's a little bit of ink going to go on that when it's printed, so it'll look a bit better in the printed form, even though when you look at it on the monitor it looks pretty much the same. You can also do a lot more with that. Another thing you can do when you're doing these things is, if I'm going to go and sort of control and zoom into this here, I'm just going to turn off this layer for the moment to show this, is that if I go over here, you notice there that the red and the green is both 255, so here, which means you've got saturated red and saturated green, although not saturated blue. And when you get a saturated colour, you're going to get a blocky effect on the print, so it's good to address those sorts of things as well, in which case you can go down to individual channels here. So I've got RGB here, I can say where's the red, and I can pull the red down a bit there as well, so on. Let's turn that back on again, and so on. There we go. Excuse me, get this back on. There we go. Let's bring that one back up. There we go. So we've pulled the red channel down a bit, so we're going to curve that off a bit and flatten that. If you do it a little bit, it's not going to get noticed, but it will take the edge off things like that. So if you go back over there again, so you turn the red down a bit, there's green is a little bit high, we turn the white back on, the master back on as well, so we might give the green a little bit of a tweak just to make sure it, come on, there we go. So the green, oops, do that a bit better, pull that down and then pull that back up, flatten that down there again. So that gives a little bit of green pull as well. So if we show the whole picture again, here we are, Control 0 to see the whole picture. We don't need the curves now, I'll just put it off the side. There, we can see we have improved this picture a bit. These aren't quite as saturated and jumping out at you. This is enough that it'll print and you'll get some even colour across here, not just suddenly bare paper. So there we go. This is the white downtick. There's another video showing the black uptick at the other end, which is the opposite effect. But this is useful, and you can then also do all kinds of curves as well to change this. So for example, if we go back to the master, we could now say, let's turn this into a little bit of a contrast curve. Maybe we want to darken things a bit here, and so on. You can just play with it to your heart's content. So there we go. That is the white downtick. Hope you enjoyed that one. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.